Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you, everyone, for joining this February session of Clinical Research Connections. I'll give everybody just a little bit more time to join and get settled. And we'll go ahead and while people are joining, I will go ahead and launch the poll for our audience just to get to know the group a little bit better. So first, I'm going to ask what your role is in our research community. And I'll give everybody just a moment to answer that. I hope everybody has enjoyed the long weekend and is able to get some rest and relaxation in. You know, it always goes by too fast, but nice to have a break. And we had some great weather, which was great. So it looks like we are pretty spread out. No representatives from finance this time, but regulatory coordination, other and administration, pretty evenly spread out. And I will go ahead and ask you one more question. How long have you been with us here in clinical research at the university? And while everybody is answering that, I will introduce our speakers. Today, we are going to hear some UC Health updates from Marissa Macri at UC Health Research Admin. And we will also be hearing from John Heldens regarding the COMIRB application update. So hopefully, if you registered before Clinical Research Connections, you received an email with a link to the new draft form, the new clinical COMIRB application form. So looking at these results, we've got a pretty even distribution of just a few people from 0 to 6 months to 5 years, and then plenty of people, 20 of our attendees here with us for 5+ years. That is very exciting. I'm glad that everybody's sticking around. All right, so without further ado, I will go ahead and hand it over to Marissa Macri to give some UC Health updates.
Thanks so much, Erin. Can everyone see my screen okay? Thumbs up. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we can see it. Thank you.
Okay, so just a few updates. In case you missed it, earlier this year, Research Administration launched a webinar series where we'll showcase Epic functionality that you can use in your research studies. This series we're referring to as our Research Expo. So keep an eye out for those announcements. You can, if you haven't seen this, you can email us to be added to our listserv, and we'll also add you to our Research and Epic Microsoft Teams channel and group. We did host our first Research Expo in January, and that topic was on research data capture capabilities in Epic with a focus on smart forms. So there's a link here for the recording, slide deck, and resources, which is also on our website. On the website, you can also tell us about what additional topics you would like to hear about. So the highest voted topic thus far is about how to use Epic for recruitment. And tomorrow we're hosting the second Research Expo, which will focus on research recruitment in Epic, how to use e-consents both remotely and in person to reduce that paper burden, how to use pre-screening questionnaires in Epic to file back that information and engage with potential participants. You can use the QR code I have here to scan and add that calendar to your event, or click this link in the slide deck. And no registration is required for the Research Expo. So you can visit our website to just add those calendar events to your calendar. So some upcoming exciting functionality. We also recognize that with technology, we need an operational lens on how to make that work compliantly for your study. So we have invited Erica Reithmiller, who's the Chief Privacy Officer at UC Health, and Kat Sutherland, who is the Assistant Director of COMIRB, to participate in a expert panel discussion on HIPAA compliant research recruitment and how that can be done effectively and compliantly in EPIC. We'll probably have future operational sessions with this panel format. So this series we're taking from Between Two Ferns and calling this series Between Two Binders to be a little fun in research administration and regulatory compliance. You can also use the QR code here or click the link in the slide deck to add this invite to your calendar. This is occurring in the beginning of April. So we wanted to get past that spring break disruption. And please do tell us what kind of questions you have or what you'd like to hear the panel discuss during this session. You can use the link in the bottom left to fill out a brief survey, or you can just send us an email at uch-researchadmin. And of course, if there's other topics, we'd love to hear them so we can have panel sessions on those as well. Not event focused, but just some reminders and announcements that we've put out this year. So UC Health updated research pricing. This is effective across the system for all UC Health clinics and facilities. That pricing is effective January 1st of this year, 2024. And you can find this in a searchable format on our website. So here you can see we have included the medical groups pricing as well. CU Medicine's pricing is listed there as well. And you can search based on description, so venipuncture, MRI, or you can search based on specific CPT code. We have heard that the searchable format might not work for everyone directly on our website. So if you were one of those individuals that you're not seeing this navigation screen down below that I'm displaying here, please copy and paste that long URL link into a browser within the Citrix application so that you can use the searchable format. Just two other reminders of note. So vendors can come to UC Health for specific research purposes. So they can assess clinical areas if the protocol, study, and aim are focused on treatment and the representative's presence is required for patient safety. They cannot be present for data collection or monitoring purposes unless they're visiting an ancillary service like lab, pharmacy, radiology, and that's part of an SIV or monitoring visit that ancillary service directly has approved. In order for them to come into UC Health facilities, they must complete an IntelliCentrix registration prior to the visit. And this is not specific to just research vendors, but all vendors at UC Health must complete this process. And on the right side, you can see that is one of the links provided is the UC Health Vendor Representative Policy, which discusses those requirements. Government auditors, such as NCI and FDA, are not required to register with IntelliCentrix, but they are required to meet our masking and vaccination requirements at UC Health. So lots of great links on our website, more than what I've displayed here on this slide, but you can access the IntelliCentrix portal, FAQ, and a step-by-step registration guide for monitors. There are also contacts for customer service at IntelliCentrix. So if your vendors have questions, we do have a contact that they can ask those questions of. And then another reminder on interpreter services. This is also on our website. I've included some navigational information on how to access this on our website, but there are two parts here. So there's interpreter services, which there is a pathway for research staff to become interpreters with the appropriate and required testing at UC Health, and then how to document that appropriately for each patient. UC Health does offer interpreter services for all patient visits, but patients can decline those interpreter services. So lots of information on our website if you have questions about that, or you can feel free to email us as well. For written translation, just like a reminder that UC Health does not provide written translation services for study-specific documents. So if you need any written translation, the university has a contract with a vendor called Junction International, and this is the contact information where you can work to request those written translation services for study documents. So just some UC Health updates, and then the events that I mentioned do have flyers. You should have received those today for our listserv. But if you did not, please do email our central email at UCH-research administration. I'll put it in the chat so that you can get added to that listserv for educational opportunities as well. Thanks so much, Erin, for having me.
Thank you so much, Marissa. Any questions related to any of the updates that Marissa covered? All right. Thank you again so much, Marissa, for sharing that information. That's really helpful. I have one question in the chat. Does this also include vendors being able to go into the OR?
Yes, it does. The vendor representative policy will apply to any unit or clinic that is a UC Health facility.
Thank you. And thank you for asking, Jamie Lynn. All right, so I will go ahead and hand it off to John Heldens, who is going to talk about the COMIRB application update. John, go ahead and take it away, and I will share a couple of links to where you can see the COMIRB application update and provide feedback in the chat.
Great, thanks, Erin. Hi, everyone. This is a long time coming, so I'm happy to have a draft of a better COMIRB application out to you. I sent a copy out Friday, but you can also pull it down off our website. We've been working on this for about a year now. It was a complicated project, I was working with some partners at the Cancer Center and Barbara Davis, Tiffany Cull, Tricia Quisaldo, Kat Sutherland from my office, and then we also took advantage of School of Medicine program, the IHQSC, and Emily Gottenberg's been our coach and has been very helpful. It's been a really fun project. So in a nutshell, our goal is to make this shorter and simpler. Don't have questions in the application that are found in the protocol or the consent form. In other words, don't require you to copy and paste. If we're going to ask a question, ask it once instead of several times in the application, and and save you time, the researchers, save us time from reviewing it, save us both time trying to correct little inconsistencies between a protocol and the application, etc. It's still on the same PDF format. We did look at other ways to collect this information, but the advantage of the PDF, it's a document that can still be emailed amongst and between study teams and COMIRB, and it's actually got a lot of flexibility in it. So that piece hasn't changed. As you all know, you have to open it with Adobe. It does not open in your browser. And another goal of the project is to get your feedback. We phrase the questions as best we thought, but if they don't make sense to you, then we want to hear that. The questions have to be worded in a way that makes sense to the people filling out this form. So I hope if any of you have comments or feedback, I'm here. It's welcome. Any and all comments are welcome. We do have a link to a survey if you want to provide written comments. That was in the email and also in the link that Erin just shared. We're looking for, have we phrased the questions correctly? Are there any technical errors? I know there are technical errors and glitches in the form, if you can find something that we haven't found, that's going to be extremely helpful. Another improvement I think we've made is that as you fill out the application, a list of attachments populates at the end. The old application, you would answer a question and then a pop-up might say, oh, remember to attach this document or that document. So we move that to the end of the application form. So by the time you're done, you should have a pretty good list of things you need to remember to submit to COMIRB. That's another sort of common delay that we see. Somebody just reasonably forgets to attach something, and then we have to sort of stop. Let me stop right there and see if any of you have comments on what you've seen so far. One more thing. Because this relies on, a really well-written protocol, we updated our protocol templates. The old templates had some holes in it. So on our webpage, you can find several new protocol templates available to you. So the use of a protocol kind of goes hand in hand with the use of an application form. We are aiming to release this in the middle of April. Somewhere around April 10th or April 15th at the latest. Yeah, and I'm going to stop there and let me know if any of you have comments. Please feel free.
John, can you talk a little bit about the changes that were made to the protocol template? Anything major that we should be aware of?
If not major, if you're familiar with protocol templates, the new templates, they're just more complete. They were based on NIH templates that you may be familiar with, but pared down quite a lot. So NIH has a couple clinical trial templates on their webpage. They're 67 pages long. We've included a lot more instructions in these protocol templates. So we have 3 new protocol templates. One is for an interventional investigation that doesn't require an IDE or IND. And that's about 6 pages long right now with the instructions. Then we have a protocol template for an observational study that may involve procedures, but is not studying a therapeutic intervention. That's 4 pages long. And then got a new protocol template for exempt research. That is of the variety of doing research in like K through 12 schools or other educational settings or surveys, interviews, other sorts of tests. Those studies did not previously require a protocol, so that is a bit of a big change, but we're hopeful that writing a protocol is fairly familiar to most researchers, so don't anticipate too many problems there. The main difference is we've informed consent wasn't squarely called out in our previous protocol template, which is a pretty basic thing, for example. So, there's a section for consent process. There's a section, it's just laid out, I think, a lot more cleanly and clearly, risks, procedures, etc.
Thank you so much. I have a question in the chat. Pamela asks, will ongoing studies need to be updated to use the new application form?
Never. No, this is a going forward project. Nobody has to rewrite protocols or rewrite application forms. This is going to apply to new research only. Also, you will never have to write 2 protocols. So if we are a site and a protocol was written externally, either by a sponsor or another lead site, we will accept that protocol.
Other questions?
Anything that you see that doesn't make sense to you in the application form or could be better phrased, please let me know. You can fill out the survey. You can email me. You can email COMIRB. We have not made any changes to consent forms. I see that question. So those templates are the same. And I guess what I'll say at the end, if there are no comments, is that we are looking for pilot studies. So if any of you want to take the application for a test run, if you have a protocol written that is ready to submit in the next week or two, or 3, I would love to work with you to use that as an opportunity for you to see if the application works for you, and for us to see that the application works for us. And if you do have a protocol ready to go, just email me and attach the protocol, and I will get in touch right away.
Thank you, John. I have another question in the chat for you. Michelle asks, is the policy and procedure manual being changed to match it? COMIRB is allowing verbal consent with this change?
Nothing in the policies and procedures are changing because of this. There's not really a policy change. So for now, verbal consent, same as it was. Was there something more specific there?
Michelle, did you have like a
We
specific example
do
regarding?
allow verbal consent. If you're
Yeah,
Yeah.
but in the past, we haven't been allowed to do, like, we could do a phone consent, but then we still had to have them sign the consent form. We couldn't do just a full-on verbal consent in the past.
So yeah,
And the policy and procedure manual, because I know I've dug into this, didn't allow for verbal consent, but I'm seeing verbal consent on the new application. So I'm just wondering if that's a change.
yeah, I think that is context specific. We have thousands of studies approved with verbal consent, but they're not clinical research. And maybe that's
Okay. Oh,
the
that
difference.
makes sense. So we're not talking clinical research. Okay.
Yeah, and the application form is for everybody. So we hope that it works as easily for somebody at the downtown campus as it does for somebody at Anschutz.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking that, Michelle. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Any other questions? And a few of you, I did see somebody, a couple people filled out the survey already over the weekend, so I appreciate those comments. Thank you very much.
So regarding studies where applications are being put together now, if the anticipated submission date is somewhere around the April launch, anticipated launch date of the new application form, should people continue to use the old application form? Should they anticipate using the new one and just kind of wait to fill it out until the draft is finalized? Or should they just have a conversation with you?
Please contact me. If you're ready to go, then I can get you a version of the application that can be used for your study. The draft version is partially disabled, but I can get you an application form. So if you're in the process of working on the current application, then you can pilot test the application form. You don't have to wait until the middle of April. I'm looking for a variety of studies, a clinical trial, an observational study, survey study. So, so we can sort of try to touch on as many types of studies that we review in the next few weeks and try to minimize. We really want the application to be as close to perfect come middle of April as we can. So the more feedback, the better.
Thank you. That's really helpful. Any other questions from folks? This is a very exciting project and very exciting change to the application. I know a lot of really hard work has gone into this, and I really appreciate COMIRB's investment in making this a more simplified application process for the CU research community.
Now we're excited about it. We really hope this saves you time, saves us all time, because we all have other things to do than fill out a long, complicated form. Yeah, just give us, there's more feedback, the better. Don't be shy. Now's the time to let us know if there's something broken, something needs changed in that application form. Yeah, we hope this is going to be a lot better going forward for everybody.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, John, and thank you for everyone who has provided feedback. You can still provide feedback using the survey that is both available on the COMIRB application draft page, the continuous improvement page. There's a link to that. The feedback survey can also be accessed directly via the link in the chat. And if you do have if you do have questions, or you're working on developing a protocol, the COMIRB forms page has been updated with the new protocol templates. Those are now at the top of the COMIRB's forms page. The link to the COMIRB's forms page is also available in the chat. So if there are no further questions regarding the new application form, then we will go ahead and wrap up here and give everybody a little bit of their time back. Hopefully some of you can use it to fill out the feedback survey and provide COMIRB with that valuable information, because this is something that's really being driven by the needs of the research community. So thank you again to COMIRB. Thank you to our presenters today. Appreciate it, Marissa and John, for coming to speak with us today. And we will let everybody get a little bit of their Tuesday back. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.